ChromeOS. More like worst OS. Hello everybody and welcome back to our video. In today's video we're going to be talking about ChromeOS, but the worst OS ever. So let's just start with some basic things that make ChromeOS the worst OS. First of all, this is the point I really don't like, is that there's no profile switcher. Now, on macOS and Windows, there's always that profile switcher at the top right of your screen. Well, not right, but it's right on. It's beside the three dots. It's more like your profile picture in the toolbar. Basically, it's the profile switcher, so you can add a different profile. But in ChromeOS, there's none of that. That's because in Windows and macOS, you have a local account to log in. Now, the reason I'm saying why I'm saying quote unquote local account is because that it is more of a local account. You're just signed into your Microsoft account or Apple ID. So that's the thing. Now, that's why you can switch between Chrome accounts, because you are not locked into a system. But in ChromeOS, you're logged into a Google account, and that's all what you can do. And sometimes, if you're getting Chromebook from a school, they might even have limitations on some settings that are just blocked by default. And even sometimes it blocks you can't add accounts. You can't add personal accounts. You can't add personal accounts to it. It will just stay like that. Now, there's a couple of more things. Second thing of all, there's no desktop. And I say this because Windows and macOS have a desktop, literally. I have a desktop right now on my MacBook. And this is pretty much just waste of time. There's no desktop, meaning if you try to drag something out, like download an image, for example, try to drag it onto the desktop, it can't. Now, sometimes on some Chromebooks, and I forgot to mention this, you can't change the wallpaper. You can't change the wallpaper? Now, this is administrator, but you can't change the wallpaper. You can't customize it. Now, yes, you can change the Chrome wallpaper at least, but the wallpaper's locked to whatever default one is. But regular Chrome OS, don't worry about it. Next up is the limitation of applications. And this is pretty self-explanatory, but for those who don't know much about Chrome OS, I'm going to explain this. Application limitation literally means you're not going to have as much as applications as you're going to find. Like if you're switching from a Windows computer, which I did, you're not going to have File Explorer, you're not going to have Microsoft Edge, you're not going to have all of those goods, and you can't install all applications that are deep dark, like Tor browser, for example, and you're not going to be able to install old versions of applications that predate the first version of Chrome OS, like AOL Instant Messenger. That reminds me. Now, Chrome OS is a little bit like macOS because you can't. Chrome OS is a little bit like macOS because, you can't run older versions of applications on macOS, and this is pretty much what macOS does. If you have an application, that you would like to run, if you have an application that is old if you have an application that is old, older than the version of macOS that you have, it's older than the version of macOS you have, it's probably gonna have the prohibited symbol. This symbol means you can't run the application. Now, if you're on an older version, this is. Now, some of them won't show this if they're in an installer, but it will pop up with you can't open the application, install AIM, and then the application name. For me, it's AIM, for example, because the classic environment is no longer supported. Now this is only for Macs, but there's no prohibited sign, so you'll be like, let's click into here, and then you just go. Now this prohibited sign, you already know, and it just says AIM needs to be updated, which is a big sign. Now, trying to do this again is not gonna work, so don't try to do it. And macOS, yeah. So just don't do it again. So yeah. So basically that's what it is. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the